The Sony HXR MC2500 is the camera equivalent of shaking someone's hand a little too hard the first time you meet them in a desperate attempt to establish dominance early. But like the hand-crushing introduction of a deeply insecure middle-aged executive, there's not as much backing up that initial impression as you might think. Pick up the Sony by its large built-in handle, and you'll quickly realize that its main ingredient is air. This is a much smaller camera, inhabiting a shell of a professional machine. The whole thing weighs just over 6 pounds, almost 7 if you include the battery. Being lightweight in itself is not a sin. The fact that the camera weighs a little more than my grandma's max bench press makes it really easy to carry around on your shoulder all day. After all, that is what it's designed for, and ergonomically, it's better than most. In addition, all this surface area allows the controls and ports to be nicely spread out. Nobody can accuse this Sony of being cramped to operate. However, for a camera that is ostensibly supposed to be used on the go, image stabilization is not fantastic. The footage isn't rendered unusable, but I've seen phones that do so much better in similar situations. Clearly, to get professional results, the MC2500 is better suited to a tripod. If that's the case, then why does this camera look like this? Why would anyone want to carry around a cubic foot of plastic when a DSLR or high-end Handycam could do the same job? Because all this plastic gets respect, at least from people who don't know much about cameras. Nobody should ever allow a wedding to be filmed with a Handycam, but if you show up with this, a man in a tuxedo will probably show you right to your reserved spot to set up, and probably take your coat too. "I'm sorry, sir. Did you have any trouble with the valet parking?" Anybody can own a DSLR, but when you pick this up, people start assuming you work for Channel 15 News. People innately associate bulk with importance, and I get that. But at a certain point, this camera goes beyond assuring clients of its professionalism and starts getting into bragging territory. It's just a little thing, but the fact that the SD card door is the size of the palm of my hand to cover one SD card slot, it just feels like arrogant design at a certain point. Sure, it looks cool. It slides back and forward with a satisfying thunk every time. And you can kind of look through it to see if there's a card, but at a certain point, are you wasting plastic? Like, I don't know, could you have put a second SD card slot under all this space? I feel like there's room for some kind of improvement here, and it's really just style over substance. As if you couldn't already tell that Sony was proud of this thing, they added a little special touch that is just my favorite thing about this camera. You flip it around, and you got the Sony equivalent of the bat signal lighting up the back of your camera here. Very few times do people at a wedding look at the wedding photographer and think, what is that person using? I think I could be that guy if only I had that exact camera. Who makes that camera? Could I go learn this myself? No, I don't have time for that. If only there was a clear, obvious signal where this camera is from and who makes it. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Sony. It's as if the camera manufacturers think that people carrying this camera are going to be flocked to, like that most interesting man in the old Dos Equis commercials. Allow me to demonstrate. I don't always shoot video in public, but when I do, I prefer Sony. Stay black plastic, my friends. It's pretty good, right? No? No, absolutely not? All right, that's fair. Stay 1080p, my friends. All right. All right. This isn't the flagship of Sony's camera line, not even close. It's supposed to be somewhere between consumer and pro level, and I just wish Sony would have thought a little more about who exactly was going to use this, instead of, you know, spending their time on some other things. For instance, this camera can shoot crisp, clear 1080p video, but it's only got one SD card slot to store all of that, up to 64 gigabytes in SD, and the internal memory is downright frustrating to use. It has a hot shoe, mounts for accessories, it has multiple output ports, but at the same time, it only has one sound input port, no XLR options, not even a 1/4-inch jack, just the 3.5 millimeter. That feels really limiting in a camera this size and kind of aimed at a slightly more professional audience. Sony put a great fixed lens on this camera that can zoom up to 20 times magnification before even starting to degrade the image quality. And yet, they could not be bothered to integrate the lens cap. It's just this little plastic thing hanging by a string.
Careful there.
I don't know why this is so hard. Every single camera that I have ever used, even the cameras that my parents used to film me in when I was in diapers, all of those cameras have had integrated lens covers. There's just a little switch on the front side of the camera, right up here. You lift the switch, you put the switch down, the lens cover opens, closes, but it doesn't ever leave the camera, because why would you do that when we have modern technology? It's just little plastic flaps that open and close, open, close, doesn't go anywhere. It's always there when you need it. You can't lose it if, I don't know, random sharp objects wander in between the camera and its lens cap and cut it off randomly. It's little things like this that make me question the $1,400 price tag. If the designers had put half as much thought into this lens cap as they did into this big fancy sliding cover, I might actually be proud of Sony enough to light up this logo. I don't want this video to turn entirely into the Clarion rants and hates on their own camera, because, you know, this thing is pretty good at the basics. As well, the assignable manual ring opens up a lot of doors creatively. But if you're watching this video because you want to just buy a camera for $1,400, you can probably do better. Most of the good DSLRs fall easily within this price range. If you're looking for something a little more portable even, you can buy a smartphone. Right now, smartphone cameras are getting great to the point where you can pretty much use them for a lot of light professional work. The LG V30 is a great example of this. It's a current smartphone, top of LG's line. It shoots 4K video out of 2 lenses, and it has full manual controls right in its camera app, which is something that few other smartphone cameras can contend with. There's even a couple options for 4K handycams that are also pretty nice, portable, a lot smaller form factor than this, so you can take them a lot more places where you might not necessarily be able to take this. If you do buy this camera, its professional silhouette will surely impress some of your clients. But just know there are others of us out there who have used the MC2500, and we know what's really going on. If you want to see more equipment reviews from students at Madison College, leave a like down below, comment to tell us what else you want to know about, and subscribe to Clarion Broadcasting. I promise our future reviews will not be such downers. We actually like a lot of the equipment we use on a daily basis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon with another video. Oh, and it's recording. That's lovely. When did that start?
When did that start?
It's been recording black screen and me ranting about it.
You're probably hurting its feelings.
Oh no, I have to wipe its memory now. Goodbye, Sony.